newspaper page that was published in News Post 5 years ago tomorrow. I will make it clear and stress that this is not the only illustration. There are many other illustrations that people at certain points in history found offensive. And I will also say to Muslims out there that by reproducing this page, I did not intend to offend or insult anybody. That those cartoons are part of history, and every time we go into a historical subject, be it 9/11 or the Holocaust or other catastrophic events, we reproduce images that somehow are connected to that event, even though it may be very offensive to relatives who watch these horrific incidents. For my own part, I have two reasons for reproducing this page. One is that for the past 5 years, people around the world have been discussing these cartoons, but very few people have made the effort to analyze them and look at them and describe, in fact, what they show. I have done that in some detail, and that's one reason why I reproduced that page. I mean, it's the same logic when you publish an analysis of the paintings of Manet or Picasso. You don't you show the actual images so people can compare what's in the text and what's in the image. So that's the first reason. The other reason has to do with a section in the book that is dealing with what I would call offensive images. I mean, I acknowledge that that's one of the things that surprised me that 5 years ago that so many people were offended by those cartoons, and I have spent some time trying to understand what it is about images that cause offense. And if you go back into history, in 1863, Edouard Manet, the French Impressionist artist, for the first time exhibited Olympia. I have the image in my book. It's a beautiful woman lying on a sofa bed and watching or glaring at the painter. Back then, a French critic wrote that the organizers of the exhibition had to raise a barrier between the audience and the painting because they were afraid that people would attack the painting and destroy it because it seemed so offensive to other people. Today, when we look at that image, people cannot understand why 150 years ago this image caused so severe reactions. And I believe the same will happen with those cartoons with the passing of time. So that's my second reason for publishing. I will also say that long before it became known to the public that I would include these images in my book as documentation, I consulted people who know something about security and intelligence matters to inform them about this, and I was never told that or advised that I should not do this. Here is the book, and that's what I want to say about the cartoon. The book is not a book about the cartoon crisis. I mean, I have been talking about the cartoon crisis for the past 5 years, and I will say today that from now on, in Denmark at least, I will not debate these cartoons anymore in public. All the arguments for and against are well known. it's very difficult to change people's perceptions. And I think, we have debated this in Denmark, and everybody knows, or those who want to know, can find out what are the arguments for and against. So I will not do that. But I will continue to engage in the debate about freedom of expression in a globalized world. And there are many more cases similar to the Kazoo crisis out there that you do not trigger the same kind of strong emotions that we can debate maybe in a more calm way. And people have not invested maybe so much passion in it. My book is basically a book about how do we live together in a world that is getting more and more multicultural, more and more multi-ethnic, and more multi-religious. And at the same time safeguard fundamental liberal principles like freedom of expression and freedom of speech. And I believe that as time goes by in the 21st century, this situation will just be reinforced. This more diverse world, and I believe it's due to two factors. One has to do with migration. People are moving across borders in numbers and at a speed never seen before in the history of mankind. And it means that every society, Denmark, Russia, India, the United States, countries in the Middle East, will get more and more multi-ethnic, multicultural, and multi-religious. The other new factor has to do with information technology, which means what is being published in the digital world in Denmark is immediately accessible all over the world. And then the question is, how do we handle this new situation? And I basically believe that you can go two ways. You can either say, if you respect my taboo, I respect yours. If it should be banned to publish cartoons of the Prophet Mohammad, it should also be banned to publish cartoons of Jesus, of Moses, of Buddha, of political leaders, philosophers who represent certain trends in history of ideas, and so on and so forth. I believe that this path is not very constructive. I believe it will lead to what is the title of my book, A Tyranny of Silence. If the insult argument is followed in a consistent and consistent way, in the end we will not be able to say anything that may not be perceived as offensive to somebody.